Mr Miliband, where's our referendum? Angela Merkel says the European Reform Treaty is 99% European Constitution. In your manifesto you said we would have a referendum on this.
We said we'd have a manifesto on a referendum on the Constitution, but as Angela
that's what Angela Merkel said it is.
99%. As Angela Merkel and every other European leader said that the Constitution has been abandoned, to quote her.
But it's an affront to our democracy. You're handing away our power, Mr Miliband. You're handing away our power, the people's power. You're giving it to the corporations.
That's your view, but it's not mine.
But Angela Merkel says the new treaty is 99% the same as the Constitution.
It's exactly the same, Mr Miliband. There's only 10 differences in that treaty. Only 10. You're giving away our power. We voted you and you're giving our power away. Mr Miliband, do you not feel you might be wasting your time a bit in writing a manifesto when you don't stick to your last one with regards to the EU referendum?
No, we're definitely going to stick to our manifesto. We always do.
Well, how come you're not having a referendum? Why is this European Reform Treaty?
And we've stuck to it on European reform, on the European Reform Treaty as well.
It's not going through this week. It's a three-line whip. There's no referendum.
Nice to see you.
You're giving away our power, Mr Miliband. You're giving away the people's power. They gave.
I don't agree with that. Actually.
You are though.
I don't agree with that.
The Parliament may as well just be like a mayor's office.
Well, that's not the way I see it. But
well, how do you see it?
Well, I think Parliament plays a very important role. In fact, it's starting to debate the EU Reform Treaty on Monday, and there'll be a vigorous debate.
There won't be a vigorous debate. It's a three-line whip.
But I suggest you try and attend the debate, and there'll be a very vigorous debate in Parliament.
It's a three-line whip, so the MPs have got no choice but to vote through.
I find amongst my colleagues that they understand the need.
It's my democracy that you're giving away.
No, I don't think we are giving away democracy.
It is. The laws are going to be written in Europe.
No,
by people like Peter Mandelson, who Tony Blair's appointed in the Royal Prerogative, who's writing the trade laws for Europe.
I think you're listening to people who.
No, I'm not. I'm listening to Tony Benn telling me this.
Well, I don't agree.
This is Tony Benn.
I've got great respect for Tony Benn. I don't agree with him on this issue.
This isn't a nationalistic issue at all. I'm not a nationalist at all. This is an issue of democracy, and you are giving away the people's democracy. You have no right to give away our democracy.
I don't
Absolutely no right to be doing this.
I don't see it that way.
Well, you should look at it this way.
No, I don't see it that way. I mean, the EU Reform Treaty is about putting into practice enlargement of the EU, which I think is the right thing.
So have you actually read the treaty? Have you read this Reform Treaty?
Actually, you find that lots and lots of people support the EU Reform Treaty. Look, I'm going to have to go and say hello to other people.
Thanks for your time anyway.
Thank you very much.
Have you actually read it? Can you tell me if you've read it all? Can you tell me if you've read the Reform Treaty?
I know lots about the Reform Treaty.
So you've not read it? You've not read it?
Now we have a new constitutional treaty which transfers more powers to Europe, and we are not going to be allowed even to say whether we approve it. And what is wrong about that is very straightforward. In a democracy, the sovereignty belongs to the people, not to Parliament. And if Parliament does transfer powers away, it is stealing rights that don't belong to it, because an MP is lent the powers of the public for 5 years, and then you have to hand it back in the next election. But if in the 5 years you give it away to somebody else, then in the next election you can't repeal the laws they've made, and it is a theft of public rights.
With regards to the European Reform Treaty, we actually interviewed your father, who's very against this European Reform Treaty. What are your thoughts? Are you going to be voting yes?
I am going to be voting in favour of it, yes I am.
Why are you giving away our democracy, Mr Benn? This is our democracy.
Because Parliament is going to decide, and we elect our Parliament.
You said we'd have a referendum.
That was when a different treaty was being proposed.
It wasn't. It's 99%. Angela Merkel says it's 99% the same treaty.
With respect, it was very different in character. It was. Well, that's my view, and we live in a democracy. Okay? Cheers.
I think you're letting the people down, Mr Benn.
Now they say it isn't really a constitutional treaty, just an amendment. It isn't. I mean, huge powers are being transferred. There'll be a European permanent president who won't be elected. There'll be a foreign secretary. There'll be European embassies all over the world. And I've got a list if you want me to go through all the changes there'll be. But these are fundamental changes. And if you have a referendum to decide whether you want a mayor of London, you can very well have a referendum when you want to take powers away from, the electors and hand it to people we didn't elect, can't remove, and who don't have to listen to us.